In a quiet home in the city, there lived a woman named Grace and her daughter Ruth. For years, it had been just the two of them. Struggle, hustle, survival. Grace worked endlessly to give Ruth a better life. Then one day, everything changed. She met a man. He was wealthy, calm, supportive, the kind of man people prayed for. Within a year, they got married, and just like that, life became easier. Bills were paid, food was plenty, Ruth's school fees never delayed again. To outsiders, it looked like a miracle, but inside that house, something else had begun. At first, it was small, a look that stayed too long, a voice that softened too much. My baby girl, my fine baby girl. Ruth would smile politely, but deep down, she felt uncomfortable. She ignored it, told herself it meant nothing, until one evening, when her mother was not home. Something changed. After that day, Ruth was no longer the same. She became quiet, withdrawn, always avoiding being alone in the house. But the man noticed, and one day, he said it clearly. If you say anything, I will stop everything. Your school, your comfort, everything. Ruth froze because she knew he meant it. So she kept quiet. Days passed, weeks passed. She carried it alone until one night she couldn't anymore. Mommy, please, I need to tell you something. Grace looked up. What is it? Ruth's voice trembled. Stepdad is not treating me right. Silence, then anger. What do you mean by that? Grace snapped. Ruth tried to explain, but Grace didn't listen. That man has done everything for us. How can you accuse him of such a thing? The slap came fast. Never say that again. Ruth stood still, eyes filled with tears, but no more words came out. Something inside her shut down. From that day, she stopped trying, but Grace was no longer at peace because now she started noticing things. The way her husband spoke, the way he looked at Ruth, the way he said, my fine baby girl. It no longer sounded harmless. It sounded wrong, very wrong. So one afternoon, when he wasn't home, Grace called Ruth. Come and sit. Ruth hesitated, then sat slowly. Grace took a deep breath. I'm sorry I didn't listen before, she said softly. Ruth looked up, surprised. But now, I want to hear everything. And this time, Ruth spoke. Everything. And this time, Grace listened. Every word, every detail. And as she listened, her heart broke because now she believed. That night, Grace didn't cry. She planned carefully because this wasn't just about anger anymore. It was about ending it completely. A few days later, they set the trap. Saturday, Grace acted normal. I'm going now. I'll be back late. The man nodded, but Grace didn't leave. She waited outside, hidden, watching. Inside, Ruth stayed calm, waiting. Then his voice. Ruth, her heart raced. Come out, my baby girl. Outside, Grace's hands began to shake, but she held her phone steady, recording every word, every movement, everything she once refused to believe. Tears rolled down her face, but she didn't stop, because this time she would not look away. Then suddenly, the door opened. Grace stepped in. Silence. The man froze. Ruth stepped back. Grace raised her phone. Don't say a word, she said. And in that moment, he knew it was over. The end. The divorce was immediate. The evidence was undeniable. The truth could not be hidden. Grace didn't just leave. She fought and she won. A huge settlement, legal protection, but most importantly, freedom for her daughter. Months later, they started again, not rich, but safe, at peace. One evening, Ruth asked quietly, Mommy, why didn't you believe me before? Grace paused, then said, "Because I was afraid of losing comfort. But I almost lost something more important." She held her daughter tightly. "And I will never make that mistake again. As a single mom, be careful the kind of spouse you accept. Single mom experience different kind of problem when they rush to marry another man because of needing helpmate and the presence of fatherhood for their children."